At the beginning of the movie, the story opens in 1857, in the farthermost north, where a massive ship lies trapped in the Arctic ice. The ship's captain, Anderson, is cautioned by his commander not to rush the work, warning that doing so might endanger the crew. However, Anderson insists that no matter the risk, they must reach the North Pole as soon as possible. It's their mission. Later that night, Anderson hears an explosion in the distance. He and a few of his men head out to investigate and discover blood scattered everywhere, unharmed sled dogs, and a wounded man named Victor Frankenstein. They notice that Victor has a prosthetic leg. Just then, they hear a monstrous growl echo through the cold air. Anderson orders his men to rush back to the ship with Victor. Once aboard, he commands them to ready their rifles. Moments later, the creature approaches and the crew opens fire, but the creature remains unaffected. It growls fiercely and continues advancing toward them. Anderson shouts for everyone to get inside the ship as the monster begins its attack. Climbing up the hull, Anderson demands to know what the creature is, but before Victor can answer, the monster roars and points at him, shouting, "Bring him to me." One of the men attacks the beast, but it throws him aside effortlessly. Another crewman manages to hit it with a large gun, sending it crashing beneath the ship. However, the monster instantly heals and starts climbing back up, but the crew quickly pulls up the ladder to block its way. Enraged, the monster begins to push the entire ship. Despite being trapped in the ice, it's so powerful that it starts tilting the ship and cracking the frozen surface beneath. Anderson fires his gun at the ice, causing it to shatter, and the monster plunges into the freezing waters below. Later, Dr. Utzon treats Victor while Anderson introduces himself. Victor asks, "How many of your men did it kill?" Anderson replies, "6. Hearing this, Victor warns, "It will come back and kill many more, unless you deliver me to it." Anderson insists the creature is gone, but Victor yells, "No, it's not. It can't die. I've tried to destroy it. Believe me, it will return for me. And when it does, you must promise to cast me out onto the ice and let it take me." Anderson, shaken, asks, "What kind of creature is that? What kind of devil made him?" Victor replies, "I did. I made him."
Comment. Subscribe to Recapss Horror.
The next day, Victor tells Anderson that he will share his story. "My father gave me this name." With that, Part 1, Victor's tale begins. We then see Victor's mother, Claire, searching for him as his father, Leopold, is returning home after a long absence. We are introduced to young Victor. His father, Baron Leopold, was a renowned surgeon who had married Claire for her wealth and the large dowry she brought. Leopold was often away from home for extended periods, but whenever he returned, the entire household was expected to obey his every command. It was clear that Claire could never disobey Leopold. She was pregnant, and even when she was full, Claire forced herself to eat more for the sake of a healthy baby against her own will. That night, while young Victor prayed to his guardian angel, he overheard his parents arguing. Moments later, Claire came to him in tears and hugged him tightly. Leopold despised both Claire and Victor. His entire focus was on turning Victor into a great surgeon. He constantly made him study human anatomy under immense pressure. Whenever Victor failed to answer a question correctly, Leopold would beat him, not on his hands, since those were meant to become a surgeon's hands someday, but on his face. One day, while Victor and Claire were playing cards, she suddenly went into labor. Victor ran to call his father, and Leopold rushed to perform the delivery himself. Claire was taken inside for the operation, but she died, giving birth to a baby boy. Devastated by his mother's death, Victor was completely broken, as she had been the only person he was close to. Leopold named the newborn William and showered him with affection. It was painfully clear to Victor that his father loved William deeply and hated him even more. One day, Victor confronts his father, accusing him of letting his mother die. Leopold coldly insists that he did everything he could to save her, but Victor counters that he still failed. Leopold tells him that no one can conquer death, to which Victor defiantly vows that he will, that everything his father knows, he will know and more. That night, Victor had a vision of a dark angel who promised that he would one day surpass his father, become the greatest surgeon in the world, and rule over life and death. Meanwhile, in the present timeline, we see the creature, now fully healed, emerging from the frozen water and moving toward the ship. Victor continues his story. 2 revolts and a fire on my mother's plantations destroyed our fortune. The Frankenstein family lost everything except our mansion. Eventually, Leopold died. William was sent to live with relatives in Vienna, while Victor went to London and later Edinburgh, where he spent decades pushing the limits of science and medicine. In 1855, at the Royal College of Medicine's disciplinary tribunal, Victor presented his groundbreaking research before a panel of eminent scholars. Using the upper half of a dead man, to which he had attached another man's arm, he successfully demonstrated a revival. The corpse gasped and reacted like a living being. Many professors condemned his experiment, saying that only God could grant or take life. But Victor replies that perhaps God is flawed, and it is humans who must correct his mistakes. He then removes the needle from the revived body, causing it to collapse and die once again. As Victor stormed out of the college in anger, a man named Heinrich Harlander stopped him and handed him a letter from William, his brother. Harlander said he had witnessed Victor's demonstration and was deeply impressed. He revealed that William was engaged to his niece, Elizabeth, and that they would arrive in 3 days. That evening, Harlander promised, "I will show you something extraordinary, something that will change your destiny." 3 days later, Victor visits Harlander's home. Victor shows him his research, and Harlander carefully studies it, trying to understand his work. He asks Victor if the life force he commands lasts only for a short time, noting that the life Victor gives to corpses fades quickly. Harlander then reveals that he was once an army surgeon and shows Victor his own deep research on the lymphatic system. Victor is amazed by his knowledge, and as Harlander explains further, Victor begins to grasp the concept and realizes there might be a way to bring the dead back to life permanently. Harlander offers Victor unlimited resources to continue his experiments, saying he expects nothing in return, only the privilege of witnessing Victor's success and recording his process for posterity. He adds that perhaps one day he might ask for a small favor in return. The scene then cuts to Victor meeting his brother William, who introduces him to Elizabeth. Victor is delighted to meet her. During lunch, Elizabeth shares her thoughtful opinions on a discussion topic, and Victor is impressed by her intelligence and curiosity. Back in the present, Victor coughs violently, and blood spills from his mouth. At that moment, Anderson hears a commotion outside. When he goes to check, his men inform him that they've seen the creature again. The commander urges Anderson to hand Victor over to the creature, but Anderson refuses and walks away. Victor continues his story. He explains that Harlander took him to an abandoned building where he could set up his laboratory. Victor finds the place perfect for his work, and Harlander assures him that whatever he needs will be provided. William also joins them, helping to build and organize the lab. Victor immediately starts describing his vision, detailing how he wants every part of the setup to be arranged for the experiment. One day, Victor spots Elizabeth at the market buying books, then following her to a nearby church where she enters the confession booth. Curious, Victor secretly replaces the priest to listen. Inside, Elizabeth confesses that she despises Victor because he tries to control and manipulate everything and everyone around him. However, it's soon revealed that Elizabeth already knows it's Victor on the other side of the booth. Later, the two go out to a restaurant, where Elizabeth tells him that her interest in science is more aligned with nature, especially insect, as they move with the rhythms of God. She searches for miracles through science, though she has yet to find one. Slowly, Victor begins to fall in love with her. The scene then cuts to Victor working on a corpse, attempting to bring it back to life, but he fails. Sometime later, Harlander tells Victor that he suspects his growing affection for Elizabeth. He also reminds him that despite all this time, the experiment has yet to succeed. Harlander adds that his funds and patience are running out, pressuring Victor to make progress quickly. Later, Elizabeth visits Victor in the tower. She is mesmerized by his work, But when Victor confesses his love, she gently refuses, saying that she has already chosen his brother. Heartbroken, Victor retreats. While bathing, he suddenly realizes the flaw in his design. Rushing back to the lab, he makes adjustments to the dead body, and to his astonishment, the hand twitches. Then the body lets out a piercing scream before collapsing again. Victor realizes he has finally discovered the key. A week later, after war breaks out, Victor begins collecting the bodies of fallen soldiers, tall specimens with long limbs, believing that scale will make his work easier. The scene shifts to him examining the corpses, dissecting them, and carefully selecting the best parts from each to assemble a new, perfect body. Harlander documents the entire process with photographs. After days of tireless work, Victor finally completes the assembly. As thunder rumbles outside, he decides the time has come to bring his creation to life. Victor calls out to Harlander, but finds him gravely ill. Harlander reminds Victor of their agreement, that one day he would ask for a favor in return for his support. He reveals his wish. He wants to be placed in this new body. He wants Victor to revive him after death. Victor refuses, saying he is too close to completion to risk changing anything now. Desperate, Harlander tries to bribe him with money, power, even Elizabeth. Furious, Victor refuses again, telling him his body is already decaying from within. Enraged, Harlander attempts to destroy a vital component of the experiment. But as Victor struggles to stop him, Harlander falls from a height and dies on impact. Victor, shaken but determined, continues his experiment. Everything proceeds as planned. Lightning flashes across the sky, striking the tower, but the body remains lifeless. The experiment fails. Crushed by disappointment, Victor returns to his room and falls asleep. He is soon awakened by the same dark angel from his earlier visions. Suddenly, Victor opens his eyes and is shocked to see the corpse standing before him, alive. His experiment has succeeded. The creature begins mimicking Victor's movements, unaware of its surroundings, light, water, or emotion. Victor takes it to the basement, chains it up, and leaves it there. Reflecting on his work, Victor narrates that everything was new to the creature: warmth, cold, light, and darkness, and that he was there to shape it. He admits that he never considered what would come after creation. The triumph now felt unnatural. Weeks pass, and the creature's strength grows rapidly, while Victor's weakens. He notices something extraordinary. Whenever the creature injures itself, its wounds heal instantly. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and William are on their way to the tower. Inside, Victor once again chains the creature and tries to communicate with it, but it only manages to say one word: Victor. When the creature fails to speak further, Victor grows frustrated and yells at it, frightening the creature. Just then, Elizabeth and William arrives at the tower. Overjoyed, Victor takes Elizabeth by the hand and leads her inside. When she asks where her uncle is, Victor lies, saying her uncle will return in a few days. Excitedly, he takes William upstairs. Meanwhile, Elizabeth hears strange noises coming from the basement. Curious, she goes down and finds the creature chained there. She approaches cautiously and reaches out to touch him. The creature slowly lifts her veil, and she gazes at him in awe for a moment. Then, her eyes fall upon a wound on his body. She rushes back upstairs and tells Victor and William what she saw. When she asks if Victor hurt him, Victor replies, "No, I gave him life." He then takes them both to the basement, speaking harshly to the creature. The creature grows agitated, and Elizabeth questions why he's chained. Victor says it's for everyone's safety, explaining he doesn't know any better. Elizabeth remarks, "But you do." Victor observes that the creature is gentle toward Elizabeth, and that she, too, seems calm around him. That night, Elizabeth secretly goes back downstairs to meet the creature again. She sits beside him, speaking softly and kindly, introducing herself as Elizabeth, and asking him to repeat her name. He stays silent, but as she leaves, he whispers her name for the first time. When she comes out, Victor confronts her, warning her to stay away from it. Elizabeth objects it. Victor insists that there is life in the creature, but no intelligence. Elizabeth defends the creature. Victor says the creature knows only one word: "That is Victor," Elizabeth replies. Perhaps for now, that one word means everything to him. She adds that the creature is purer than common men. Irritated, Victor snaps that she's defending it and reminds her that she once rejected him and now seems more interested in the creature. Hurt and furious, Victor storms down to the basement and begins beating the creature, shouting at it to obey. The creature remains silent for a moment until rage takes over, and it roars. Terrified, Victor runs out, consumed by jealousy and resentment. Victor tells William that the creature is extremely dangerous and lies that it killed Harlander in a fit of rage. Showing him Harlander's body, Victor convinces William to take Elizabeth back to Vienna, claiming something urgent has come up. William agrees and prepares to leave. When he asks about the creature's lifespan, Victor lies again, saying it's very brief. As they depart, Victor begins dousing the entire tower with flammable liquid. He approaches the creature one last time and tells him, "Say one word other than Victor, and I'll spare you." The creature hesitates, then says, "Victor," and then Elizabeth. Hearing Elizabeth's name, Victor snaps and sets the tower ablaze. As he steps outside, he hears the creature calling out his name. Realizing what he's done, Victor rushes to the tower. But as he opens the door, a massive explosion hurls him backward, breaking his leg. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, uneasy and worried, convinces William to return. When they arrive, they are horrified to see the tower engulfed in flames, burning, exploding, and completely destroyed. Back in the present, Anderson hears a noise outside. When he opens the door, he's shocked to see the creature. Just as it's about to attack him, Victor intervenes. Anderson says, "Go on, kill us both, prove your maker's story." The creature says, "My maker told his tale, then I shall tell you mine." And thus begins part 2, the creature's tale. After Victor set the tower ablaze and the explosion occurred, the creature, trapped amid the flames, cried out Victor's name, realizing he was now completely alone. Driven by the instinct to survive, he broke free from his chains and escaped through a drain leading to the sea. Eventually, he washed ashore, awakening to the outer world for the very first time. As he wandered, he came across the skeletons of fallen soldiers and copied human behavior by taking their clothes and wearing them. He soon found a deer and shared some fruit with it. Just as a bond began to form, a hunter appeared and shot both the deer and the creature. The creature fled, discovering soon after that his wound had miraculously healed. Freezing from the cold, he took shelter in a small shed and fell asleep. Later, a family returned to the shed, the rightful owners of the place. Hiding, the creature quietly observed and listened to everything the family said and did. Over time, he began to learn how humans lived and spoke. He particularly observed an old blind man teaching his granddaughter, and by secretly watching them, the creature too began to learn. He stayed hidden near the family's home for a long while, developing genuine affection for them and wishing he could help. One morning, the family discovered bundles of kindling neatly placed outside their home. Believing it to be the work of the forest spirit, they rejoiced and thanked it. Watching them, the creature felt happy for the first time. He began secretly helping them every night, and at times, the family unknowingly returned his kindness by leaving small offerings of bread and clothes, believing their blessings came from the spirit of the forest. One day, a pack of wolves attacked the area, slaughtering the family's sheep. The creature watched as men fought back, shooting and killing the wolves. From this, he understood a grim truth. The hunter did not hate the wolf, nor did the wolf hate the sheep, but violence seemed inevitable between them. And in that moment, he thought, "This is the way of the world. It will hunt you and destroy you simply for being what you are." The family soon decided to move away, but the old man chose to stay behind. One night, the creature finally gathered the courage to appear before him. Since the old man was blind, he wasn't afraid. Instead, he welcomed the creature warmly, offering him bread and brandy. Startled, the creature accidentally dropped the bottle, but the old man gently took his hand and told him not to be afraid. He invited the creature to stay with him, share his food and fire, and be his friend, his companion. Moved, The creature asked him to tap on his head and hugged him. Over time, the old man taught him to read, speak, and understand life. Slowly, the creature learned about humans and began to speak clearly. One day, he asked the old man, "I want to know who I am and where I came from." The old man replied softly, "God took your memories, just as I wish he would take mine. Long ago, I killed a good man, and I've been atoning ever since. Forgive and forget. That's true wisdom." The creature replied, "But I can't forget what I can't remember." When asked if he recalled anything, he said, "In my dreams, I see fire, water, sand beneath my feet, and a word, Victor." Determined to find answers, he eventually located Victor's old tower. There, he discovered notes revealing that he was made from the remains of the dead, nothing but a creation stitched together from corpses. Among Victor's things, he found an envelope with a college invite and Victor's address. When he returned to the shed, he found wolves outside. Rushing in, he discovered the old man had been attacked. The creature fought the wolves fiercely and drove them away, but the old man was fatally wounded. The creature, heartbroken, confessed, "I found out what I am, made from refuse and the dead. A monster." The old man said, "I know what you are. You're a good man and my friend." With that, he died. Just then, the old man's family returned and, seeing the creature beside his body, assumed he had killed him. In panic, they attacked. One shot him in the eye and another stabbed him. In self-defense, the creature killed one of them but spared the others before fleeing the shed. As he ran, they continued shooting until he collapsed. The screen fades to black.
You're still watching? Good. Like, comment, and subscribe to Recapss Horror.
After some time, his body healed completely. He was alive once again. Back in the present, the creature says, "I felt lonelier than ever. For every man has one escape from pain, death, a gift you denied me. Envy grew within me, and I decided to ask you for one grace, a companion." In the past, Victor was living with William and was haunted by nightmares of the Dark Angel, now appearing as death itself. He woke in terror, and William came to check on him. It was William and Elizabeth's wedding day. Before the ceremony, Victor tried to speak with Elizabeth one last time, but she, filled with anger, slapped him. Hurt, Victor left, while Elizabeth looked down at the leaf the creature had once given her. As Victor entered his room, he sensed a presence. The creature stood before him. Shock washed over him as he realized it had survived and found him. The creature demanded that Victor create a companion for him, but consumed by pride and anger, Victor refused, insisting he would not repeat his mistake. The creature pleaded, desperate for someone to share his existence with, but Victor accused him of wanting to create an army of monsters. Hurt by the accusation, the creature attacked, throwing Victor across the room. Hearing the commotion, Elizabeth rushed in. Instead of fear, she felt a strange calm, recognizing the purity she had once seen in the creature. Blinded by rage, Victor grabbed a gun and fired, but Elizabeth stepped in front of him, and the bullet struck her instead. Moments later, William and the others burst into the room. Victor blamed the creature for Elizabeth's death. Enraged, the men attacked, but it fought back, injuring William before escaping with Elizabeth's dying body. Victor turned to his brother, who lay fatally wounded. William stopped him from helping, telling him that his madness and obsession had destroyed everything. With his final breath, he told Victor that he was the true monster before dying. The creature took Elizabeth to a cave, where she admitted she had never truly belonged to the world. Finding peace in his presence, she confessed her love before dying in his arms. Moments later, Victor arrived and saw Elizabeth's lifeless body. Enraged, the creature attacked him, saying, "You gave me unwanted life. You called me a monster. Now I return the favor." He threw Victor aside and growled, "You may be my creator, but from this day on, I am your master." Then he left him behind. From that point, the chase began, the creature moving farther and farther away, with Victor relentlessly pursuing him. Victor was then seen riding a sled through the icy wasteland. Along the way, he purchased weapons and dynamite. Later, He set up a small tent and waited. When he spotted the creature in the distance, he returned to his tent, loaded his gun, and fired, the bullet hitting the creature's hand. The creature retaliated, dragged Victor out of the tent, and injured him. He broke Victor's finger, stabbed him, and took the dynamite from him, saying, "You think this will unmake me?" He urged him to light the dynamite and see if it can kill him. Victor lit the fuse. The creature told him to run. As Victor ran through the snow, the dynamite exploded, but the creature survived, standing amidst the smoke and fire. Back in the present, Victor holds the creature's hand and softly apologizes. The creature tells him his time has come, that everything between them, from creation to destruction, will soon fade. He speaks without hatred or hope, accepting that all his rage, grief, and longing have turned to nothing, as the same tide that gave him life now comes to take Victor away, leaving him alone once more. Victor says, "Forgive me," and places his trembling hand on the creature's head, calling him his son. He urges him to live rather than cling to death. With fading breath, Victor pleads, "Say my name once more. My father gave me that name. It meant nothing. Now I ask you to give it back to me, one last time, the way you said it in the beginning when it meant the world to you." The creature looks at him with sorrow and says, "Victor, I forgive you." With that, Victor takes his final breath. The creature kisses his forehead and says, "Rest now, father. Perhaps now we can both be human." The scene shifts to the creature stepping out. Anderson orders his men to let him go. The creature glances back one last time before walking behind the ship and pushing it free from the frozen waters, helping it reach open sea. The captain announces that they will now return home instead of continuing the mission, and the crew rejoices. The film ends with the creature wandering the world once more, lost, yet determined to find his place in it again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.